28 days to redeem centuries spent under the cruelty of slavery. 4 weeks to apologize for the torture, for the rape, and for the imprisonment. 40,320 minutes to acknowledge the discrimination. 28 days to hold the hand and not cut it off. 1 month is not enough. 100 years are not enough. 28 lifetimes will not be enough to redeem what a group of human beings went through just for having a different colored skin. But we try anyway. Perhaps it's the thought that counts. Welcome to Black History Diary, a channel dedicated to illuminating the lesser-known facets and narratives within the broad history of the Black community. Today we disclose the untold truth behind the celebration of Black History Month.
I would argue Black History Month isn't really about Black history. It's about only teaching the pacification of Black people. You only hear about the good ones. You hear politicians talk about Frederick Douglass.
Black History Month is celebrated in February in the United States and Canada. In contrast, the United Kingdom and other European countries observe it in October. It provides an opportunity to celebrate, reflect on, and remedy the various stages of evolution the Black community has gone through. At the same time, a debate about celebrating this month erupts yet again. February in the US holds deep historical significance, while October in the UK prioritizes education and awareness. Both months serve the purpose of celebrating Black history. Unfortunately, both months are now subject to ulterior motives. What began as a heartfelt celebration of Black lives holds a profound and complex history. What initially emerged as a genuine call for awareness and recognition eventually morphed into a superficial pursuit of profit. Rather than serving as a means of redemption, it became an excuse to disregard the Black community for the remainder of the year. This is February, the shortest month of the year. It is also the month which carries with it the honor of celebrating Black history. We will only be referring to February and not October because the former is more widely and traditionally accepted. This month serves as a time to acknowledge the struggles faced by African Americans and pledge support for their cause. This annual commemoration, which has its roots dating back nearly a century, plays an instrumental role in promoting awareness of Black history. But what are the origins of this important event? And why is it no longer just about the legacy of African Americans? Let's look into where it all began. Birth of a tradition. The origin of Black History Month. A Black historian, educator, and activist, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, is regarded as the father of Black history. In 1955, Dr. Woodson established the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. In 1926, he initiated Negro History Week with the goal of addressing the systematic omission of Black history from American education and society. His contribution has been lauded by various personalities. Even President Barack Obama acknowledged his initiatives. In response to Woodson's call, Negro History Week gained popularity across the United States. The 1920s saw the rise of the new Negro generation, marked by increased racial pride and consciousness. Black history clubs and teachers' demands for educational materials and support from progressive whites contributed to its growth. In the 1940s, efforts to expand Black history education began, especially in the South, where it was often taught alongside U.S. history. During the Civil Rights Movement, Black history was integrated into freedom schools to drive social change. From Negro History Week to Black History Month, the 1960s witnessed a significant shift as Negro History Week evolved into Black History Month. Celebrations started as early as the 1940s in West Virginia and in the mid-1960s in Chicago. Younger intellectuals within Association for the Study, ASALH, influenced by the growing connection with Africa, pushed for this change. In 1976, ASALH helped institutionalize the shift from a week to a month, and from Negro history to Black history. Since then, every U.S. president has endorsed ASALH's annual theme for Black History Month. Dr. Woodson was an inspiring visionary who dedicated his life to preserving the history of his people. In fact, he believed that there was no such thing as Negro history. In Woodson's view, what was called Negro history was only a missing segment of world's history. The bulk of Dr. Woodson's life was committed to restoring this missing segment. Over the years, Negro History Week has undergone a redefinition of terminology. Today, this national observance has been expanded to encompass the entire month of February, referred to as Black History Month. But why February? You must be wondering, why February? Why dedicate the smallest month to such a vast cause? Black History Month was initially celebrated during the second week of February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. In 1976, during the United States bicentennial celebration, Negro History Week was expanded into Black History Month. It was officially recognized by the U.S. government under the 38th President, Gerald Ford. President Ford encouraged Americans to appreciate the often forgotten achievements of Black Americans. On February 10, 1976, he encouraged the nation to celebrate Black History Month. He was the first president to do so. In his message, he acknowledged the contributions and sacrifices of the Black individuals in shaping American society. These accomplishments span many fields in our history, such as science, art, sports, and more. Since then, Black History Month has been observed annually as a time to reflect on, celebrate, and educate others about the history and achievements of Black individuals and communities. It also ultimately took a dark turn in recent years, but more on that later. Black History Month is celebrated in February in the United States for historical and symbolic reasons. The choice of February is significant for several key factors. Let's discuss them. February 12 marks the birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, who issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. The Emancipation Proclamation declared the freedom of enslaved people in Confederate territories during the American Civil War, a significant step towards the abolition of slavery. Celebrating Black History Month in February is an opportunity to acknowledge the role Lincoln played in the fight for freedom and civil rights. Frederick Douglass, a prominent African-American abolitionist, writer, and orator, was born on February 14. Douglass was a leading figure in the abolitionist movement and a strong advocate for equality and civil rights. Recognizing his birthday during Black History Month is a way to honor his contributions to the struggle for emancipation and racial justice. The broader vision behind the celebrations. Dr. Woodson picked February to coincide with the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, but he had a bigger vision. He aimed to shift the focus from celebrating two individuals to celebrating the entire Black race. He didn't like the way that celebrations often lacked depth, and he believed history was made by many, not just a few great men. He wanted to honor not only Lincoln, but also the countless Black individuals who contributed to the human progress. Lincoln, as great as he was, didn't free the slaves alone. It was a combined effort of many, including Black soldiers and sailors. Woodson championed the idea that the Black community should celebrate its collective achievements. Black History Month came into being to highlight the significant contributions of African Americans in the United States. It's a tribute to the Black individuals throughout American history, including those who were brought as slaves in the early 17th century, to those who continue to shape the nation today. This observance serves as a reminder of their enduring impact and legacy. The Black community has fought for justice, equality, and liberation throughout centuries of oppression and marginalization. Their contributions have shaped the world from early African civilizations to the transatlantic slave trade and the civil rights movement. The critique and commercialization of Black History Month. The rich cultural legacy, intellectual prowess, and profound influence of Black people in a variety of disciplines are revealed by buried history, which serves as a reminder of the ongoing fight for acceptance, inclusion, and the quest for a more just society. However, while iconic figures like Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X are rightly celebrated during this month, they are also the only ones to be highlighted. It's almost as if the portrayal of only the good parts of history is intended. Nobody talks about the horrors on slavery breeding farms or the inhumane reality of the transatlantic slave trade. The reality is that Black History Month, in its current form, often leans towards the sanitation and the feel-good aspects of Black history. We hear about Jackie Robinson and James Baldwin, We hear a former president talking about Frederick Douglass in a way suggesting he's still alive. Yet, where are the ad campaigns featuring figures like Angela Davis? Why is there no adaptation on the tragic assassination of Frederick Hampton?
Black History Month, because it certainly isn't all Black history, since, that would clearly take more than the 28 days of the shortest month of the year. Really, it seems to only be the stuff that doesn't make white people feel uncomfortable. I would argue Black History Month isn't really about Black history. It's about only teaching the pacification of Black people. You only hear about the good ones. You hear politicians talk about Frederick Douglass.
If we are to continue celebrating Black History Month, we must resist the urge to sanitize it. We must confront the darker chapters of our history, such as the assassination of Martin Luther King. He wasn't merely a victim. He was a symbol of resistance against oppression and injustice. Reducing his story to a mere death diminishes the profound impact of his life and tireless work. Then there's the matter of many Black intellectuals claiming that Black History Month should not even be an event.
I want to start by saying this. I don't do Black history. I don't. And there are many people like me that don't do Black history. I celebrate my history every day. I don't need a month to tell me when to celebrate.
Academy Award-winning actor and activist Morgan Freeman has also voiced his reservations about Black History Month. His views may shock some of you.
Black History Month you find ridiculous.
You're going to relegate my history to a month? Oh, come on. What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? Well, come on.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay. Which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh. Why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
No. I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
He strongly believes that dedicating just 1 month to the celebration and recognition of Black history is not the right approach. In his view, the practice confines the richness and importance of Black history to a limited time frame, when it should be an integral part of American history throughout the year. For Freeman, Black history is not something that can be neatly packaged and discussed in just 1 month. He believes it's a fundamental and intertwined part of American history, one that should be embraced and acknowledged consistently. Rather than segregating Black history into a limited time frame, he advocates for a more continuous and integrated approach to understanding and appreciating it. In essence, Freeman encourages a year-round commitment to exploring and learning from the rich tapestry of Black history. Many other Black intellectuals are also not in favor of celebrating Black History Month. Esther Satali is an advocate for environmental and human rights. She grew up in Britain with a strong connection to her Lozi heritage from Western Zambia. She once celebrated Black History Month passionately, even organizing celebrations in educational institutions. However, she no longer participates in these celebrations, and she has her reasons. Esther believes celebrations mark significant changes in life or history. Unfortunately, Black History Month seems to pacify rather than celebrate. Britain's history includes superficial treaties and legislation that do little to address the past injustices to the Black people. One major reason for her change of heart is the continued dominance of imperialist history in education. She argues that if inclusive history was a true priority, it would already be integrated into the school curricula. The presence of romanticized colonial history education is a glaring issue. Another critical factor is the underrepresentation of Black people in economic participation. Recent Blacklivesmatter protests expose racial disparities. Initiatives like Pull Up for Change have urged companies to disclose their internal staff operations, revealing historical exclusion of Black individuals from decision-making roles. Furthermore, some individuals believe that designating a specific month for Black history can inadvertently perpetuate a form of tokenism. Tokenism occurs when a minority group in this case African Americans, is given superficial or symbolic recognition without addressing the underlying issues of inequality, representation, and systematic racism. Critics argue that by designating a specific month for Black history, there is a risk of reducing the recognition of African American contributions to a mere token gesture. This can lead to incomplete and distorted historical education in schools. It can also lead to a compartmentalized approach to history that separates Black history from the broader historical narrative. Black History Month's commercialization has raised concerns. Noteworthy are the instances where businesses and brands exploit the occasion for profit without actively supporting social justice causes or addressing systematic issues of inequality. For instance, clothing brands may create limited edition Black History Month collections without a substantial commitment to diversity and inclusion. Some businesses boost sales by offering Black History themed products, but these efforts can be viewed as superficial without accompanying actions to combat racial inequalities within their operations. Token donations to charitable organizations during the month may lack impact if companies do not address internal disparities within leadership and workplace diversity. Furthermore, cultural appropriation can occur when brands borrow elements of African American culture for profit without actively contributing to social justice causes. Critics argue that to truly honor Black history and address systematic racism, businesses and brands must move beyond marketing tactics and engage in substantive actions that support racial equality throughout the year. Some Black authors are also beginning to question the media's preoccupation with Black History Month. Prominent activist, author, and social commentator Bell Hooks started turning down the dozens of requests she receives for appearances during Black History Month. She says, "If they want me in February, they would want me the rest of the year too." Professor John Hope Franklin says, "I'm trying to make every month Black History Month." Critics of Black History Month say that singling out African Americans for special attention in February reinforces white beliefs that Black history is not worthy of general recognition. Moreover, many African Americans feel that Black History Month has been usurped by large corporations such as Philip Morris, Anheuser-Busch, and Coca-Cola that seemingly make token efforts to promote an awareness of Black history in an effort to further their marketing efforts in the Black community. What is lost in this criticism is the essence of Dr. Woodson's dream to recall the contributions of all African Americans in the history, industry, art, and sciences. The truth is that Black history is American history, and it should be integrated into educational curricula and celebrated throughout the year. It is a reminder of the ongoing struggle for civil rights, social justice, and racial equality. It's a time to recognize that the fight against racism and discrimination is not confined to the past. It continues today. The Black community is incredibly diverse, with people of African descent coming from various countries, cultures, and backgrounds. Black History Month should also acknowledge and celebrate this diversity. It's important to note that while the Black community has made significant contributions to various industries and markets, systemic barriers and inequalities persist. There is a continued need for greater diversity, equity, and inclusion in all sectors of the economy. Many individuals and organizations are actively working to address these issues and create more opportunities for Black individuals to thrive and excel in the business world. Acknowledging Black history. Every month, every day. Black History Month is a complex observance with both positive and negative aspects. While it plays a crucial role in raising awareness, celebrating achievements, and promoting inclusivity, it also faces criticism related to its scope, potential tokenism, and commercialization. These discussions can lead to a better understanding of how Black history and culture should be recognized and celebrated throughout the year. In conclusion, Black History Month is a time to celebrate, educate, and reflect on the complex history and contributions of Black individuals and communities. It serves as a reminder that Black history is an integral part of world history and should be acknowledged and celebrated all year round. Ultimately, this exploration calls us to action. Black History Month should inspire us to actively engage in the fight for a more inclusive, equitable, and just future, not just during February, but every day. By understanding the untold truths of Black History Month, we honor its legacy and commit ourselves to the principles of justice, equality, and understanding. Thank you for watching. Until next time, let's remember to celebrate the richness of Black history throughout the year, not just February.